Ernie,
Yo,
what's going on, brother?
are we recording, bro? Are we live?
We are live and in color.
I love it, brother. Nice to see you, bro.
Nice to see you. I really appreciate the last time we recorded. Oh, look at you getting all fancy with the lights.
Is that better? Is that too
Higher,
much?
higher, higher and
Higher?
further away. I'm gonna coach you here on good lighting.
All right.
That's better.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Awesome.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Um, so you and I talked about a week ago. We recorded, and it was kind of during a tense time, and I really appreciated your insight because I was really like, it's a lot of stress out there. People are stressed out. Individuals are stressed. It's like you provided a lot of insights, and I think your takeaway was that at the end of the day, we are all responsible for our own emotional well-being. We have to
Absolutely.
look out for each other. We have to ask for help, but put our heads on a pillow, lights go out. It's just us. It's really
Hmm.
we're the only ones. We have to be strong for ourselves in addition to
Absolutely.
everything else. Does
Yeah.
that kind of ring true to you?
Absolutely, brother. Were you going to introduce me, or is that we're saving that for later?
No, I'm going to introduce you now. So,
Oh,
for
okay.
for
I
the
was like, because we talked about that before we went live, and now that we're live, I'm like, oh, he introduced
no,
me.
no,
Are we
no, no,
doing
no.
that
I'll,
part?
I'll introduce you now. So I just, we're just giving a little flavor here. We're putting
I
some
love it.
Lowry seasoning salt all over this.
I love it.
Ernie, for those of you guys who don't know, Ernie and I have been friends. I mentioned last time we went to high school together, which is not true.
Right.
We did not go to high
We went
school
to high
together
school at the same
at the
time,
same
and we
time,
partied
and
together.
we partied together.
And I went
Um,
to Cathedral High School
Cathedral High
dances.
School, parallel universes, not the same location.
We
Even had
probably
an
cruised.
exciting.
We probably cruised Whittier Boulevard at the same time.
We went to Tijuana.
Oh, we did go to Tijuana.
Yeah, that's a different episode. So Ernie, you've made a career out of yourself. You started out early as a comedian. What you're currently doing now is you're an empowerment comedian, a
Hmm.
corporate speaker, and a mental health coach. And you
Absolutely.
do speaking engagements in front of education, people in the education industry, students, young people, and groups of people. And ultimately, I think if I understand you right, the thing that really gets you juiced is bringing up young people, bringing
Yeah,
young people that spark.
absolutely. The reason I am put God put me on the planet is to use comedy and laughter to inspire young people to fulfill their dreams. And in that capacity, I've been able to inspire and influence hundreds of thousands of students all over the country.
Wow.
So much so that adults and teachers see what I do and they're like, my colleagues need to see this, or adults need to see this. And so now I'm a corporate speaker, and I just did my second TEDx talk earlier last year. And
Nice.
so I spoke at NASA Langley Research Center. I've spoken for St. Jude's Children's Research Center Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. So I've been getting all these amazing corporate gigs, but really my heart and my passion is uplifting and inspiring young people.
Because that is the work, isn't it? I mean, no matter how good we make adults feel, and that should happen, at the end of the day, if we want a future, kids have to feel safe and healthy, right?
Well, the thing that never ceases to amaze me is how absolutely resilient the next generation always is. You know, we always think, oh, this next generation, they're not going to get it. And
Yeah.
dude, I started writing a joke that I randomly catch myself turning into a grouchy old man because I start thinking all these grouchy old thoughts. I'm like, these kids, these young whippersnappers, they have no idea what it was like for us. But they just never cease to amaze me at how brilliant they are. I mean, millennials and whatever they're calling the next generation
Yeah.
of young kids, they get so much flack for like, oh, I'm traumatized, and my anxiety is through the roof, and oh, I can't talk to somebody. Like, one thing that I used to do a joke about is how young people don't like to speak on the phone. You call them, they
Yeah.
don't answer, and then they send a text, hey, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, you can help me by answering your
Pick
damn
up the
phone.
phone.
And they're like, oh, it just causes me too much anxiety to have to think on my feet. But the more I speak to young people, I get it. And it's not my job to criticize them or to put them down for that. It's to empower them to be able to understand why people like our age and the older think that talking is so much more valuable. And so I've been able to express to a lot of young people that, and they know this, that when you text, there's a whole piece of who you are that just does not get expressed.
Yeah.
And so I've been able to kind of transform a lot of young people's perceptions on that. But more than anything, I like to honor where they're at. You know, you got to start with where they're at and build them up from there instead of trying to get them to understand where you're at is no good and let me
Yeah,
tear you
yeah, yeah,
down
yeah.
before I build you up.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
love that. And a part of it too is we don't really know what the hell we're talking about because we didn't come up in that world. And it's not even we can't really understand it. You know what I mean? So I think what we bring in terms of tact and communication skills and things like that is important to share. But at the same time, we're missing something if we think they should do what we did when we were 15.
totally, absolutely. And I'm of the philosophy, bro, that no matter how old you are, we all want to be valued and we all want to be respected. And underneath it all, we all want to be honored, you know.
Yeah.
And honor is a weird word for a lot of different people, so I don't use that too much, but we all want to have the experience that people really just value who we are, where we're at. And so that's where I try and start every single time that I speak to anybody, but especially young people, because young people, I feel like their spirit is so precious that I really want to respect and honor where they are. And I work with all kinds. I work with some brilliant minds that are just like beast mode, like the way they think. I'm just like, you guys are amazing. And then I deal with kids that are really dealing with some really suffering some emotional issues and trauma. And no matter where they're at, I actually, to be honest with you, I love working with kids that don't have it together, because the kids that have it together, oftentimes they think they have it together and they're a little bit more difficult, like adults,
Yeah.
to be able to penetrate. You know, so
Yeah.
I love working with kids that are seeking that help and seeking that guidance because it makes my job so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm always inspired, and surprised at sort of the vision and the brilliance, of that kind of that age group. I had the pleasure of course, watching your career come up and participate a little bit because you and I got a chance to photograph together, right? And so some of the stuff that you needed along the way, I had, the pleasure of getting you in front of the camera and taking great shots. And you're a lot of fun. Comics are a lot of fun in general because they have this, vibe about them that really comes out when the camera comes out. So
Yeah.
I
You
really
did my
appreciate that.
very first professional headshots ever.
Oh yeah, that's right, huh?
So when I first started comedy, my grandma, the short version of the long story is my uncle Rafa
Yeah.
is a famous kid actor. He was
Yeah.
in shows like Bonanza and Gunsmoke. When they first came from Mexico, he was like a star. And then he started producing commercials and directing commercials. And so he got his mom, my grandma, as a background extra in a bunch of things. So she just fancied herself a famous actress. Like she was one of hundreds of extras in the movie. The cat was it? Is it the Castaway? No, the Terminal with Tom Hanks,
Oh
where
yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah. I remember that movie.
hundreds and hundreds of people and he's stuck in a terminal. And grandma was like, Tom Hanks and I are doing a movie together. He and I are in a movie together. And I go,
Oh my
Grandma, you're one
God.
of hundreds of extras in this movie. No. Tom Hanks and I in a movie together. But she was like, Ernesto, you need to get headshots. And I go, I don't know where to get them. So my grandma took me to like some flea market, dude, and some
Oh
like I
man.
saw Mexican quinceañera
Oh my
photographer
God.
took a snapshot of me, and then we had a bunch of those made, and I was like, "What?" So I called you because I knew you through my cousin Richard, and I was like, "Vince, hook me up." And you actually took some really slick shots. I don't know if you remember it. I can't find the picture,
I would
but
like to see that. I actually don't remember those first ones.
it's a we had an old microphone, those old DJ microphones from the radio,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
it was a cool
yeah.
picture of me
Oh
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
holding the
yeah, yeah,
mic, black
yeah.
and white. I was all skinny. I had lost all this weight back in the day, bro.
Yeah, yeah. That's fun. So I look forward to the next set because it's always fun to work with you. We'll pull
Awesome.
some of those up. Maybe we'll pop them up.
Exactly. We'll go
So
through the progression of
yeah,
all of my
exactly,
shots.
exactly. I'll have you approve them first to make sure that
Nice.
it's doesn't ruin your brand.
It's okay. I look chubby in some of them, though, so I'm proud of the fact that I've lost a little bit more
Yeah, well,
weight,
we
so
all
we're
look
good.
chubby back in the day. So here's my big question, something that I was thinking about since we last talked that I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
And I love it because you've come from comedy and you've basically taken that structure as a vehicle, and using it in a way so that you could communicate in a way so that your clients and the people that are listening can digest that in a better way. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So my big question to you is, why does humor matter? Like, why
Mm.
is it in two ways? Why is it personally important to you? And, because this is probably, a part of your life going forward always. But why do you think it's important to the rest of us?
Ooh, super, super great. Whoa, dude, I just
Here we go.
had the
Here we go. I saw
flashback of
those eyes.
flashbacks. Woo! Okay, so the reason I value comedy and humor is I wasn't cute enough, I wasn't smart enough, so I better be funny. Girls like the cute boys, girls like the smart boys, and they like the funny guys.
Yeah.
And I wasn't cute enough. And I remember in kindergarten, bro, I went to Toland Way Kindergarten in Eagle Rock. And we used to, during nap time, there was several of us that couldn't sleep or were too rambunctious. So they said, go into that other room. So instead of playing soccer and getting the boys up on the wall and picking teams for soccer, we put all the girls on the wall and we picked teams for the kissing clubs,
Oh
bro.
my
We used to have
God.
kissing clubs. And okay, Richard, you kiss with Yvette, and Ernesto, you kiss with
My
Dora, and then
God.
we'd go and I didn't even know what kissing was, bro. We would just like smush our faces on top of each other's stuff, bro. I didn't know what kissing was. I just knew that it was cool, and like some chola was like our supervisor, babysitter kind of during nap time. And she's like, just go in the room. And they just let us. So one time, bro, I wanted Yvette. Yvette was the cute little dark skinned girl. And Yvette always kissed with Richard. He was like the cute boy. And I remember I go, I want Yvette. And Richard was like, Ernesto, you go first, dude. You can go. I can go first, dude, because you always get Yvette. I can go first. He goes, you go first. And I go, I want Yvette. And she goes, no,
Oh
I
no.
don't want to kiss
Oh my
Ernesto.
God.
Like, wah, wah, wah. And then he goes, it's cool, dude. Here, you kiss with Dora. You kiss with Dora. And Dora had red hair and freckles, bro. And I remember we were like trying to like smush our faces against each other. And I remember just her hot breath coming out of her nostrils onto my face. And I was like, oh God, I don't get the Yvettes in life. I get the Doras. That's who I get,
Oh
the
man.
redheaded freckle. With all due respect, no disrespect to all redheaded freckle faces out there. But the point is, the way that I got the girls was by being funny. I just started being. I knew that making girls laugh that would make them like you, and so it became And then Rafa, Richard's dad, who you went to high school with Richard, and Rafa was this child actor in my family. He would,
Clever.
yeah,
Very sharp.
amazing, and he would tell these amazing jokes. Like our family would be yelling and fighting, and then he'd go, "You guys, I got one," and he'd tell a joke, and then everyone would stop, and they'd be just staring at
Yeah.
him, and then he'd
Power.
tell the
Power, right?
power. He would tell the joke, and then everyone would be cracking up laughing. And Mexicans exaggerate jokes, so he'd stretch out the joke, and then everyone's laughing. And as an 8-year-old kid, 7-year-old kid, I was like, dude, we were all fighting, and now we're all laughing. I want to learn how to do that. So that's what really inspired me to become a comedian. And so I just knew that if you could make I remember those moments where I said something and then everyone's and I just was like, wow, where does that come from? And so later in life, I also discovered that girls like to listen to the funny guy. They just trusted me or something. They just, because I was funny, they just decided to open up to me and they started sharing with me stories. So when I started my comedy career years later, I'm in my 20s, my mid 20s. I always wanted to have that connection with people, but I had to just worry about getting funny. And I wasn't that funny. I remember, dude, I wanted to become a motivational speaker or a comedian. I wasn't sure. So I tried to do both in motivational speaking while I was doing comedy. And it just did not go over well because I wasn't funny yet, dude. So I'm like trying to say these jokes and people didn't think I was that funny. And then I'm at the end, I'm all, and don't forget, you can live your dreams. And I was like, what, dude? You didn't even make a.
Yeah.
Are you living your dreams, dude?
Yeah.
And this one comedian, Willie Barcena, came up to me after a couple of times seeing me. He goes, "Hey, bro, don't be doing that live your dreams crap, dude. People come to comedy clubs to forget about their lives. you're making them think about their lives, bro. Tell a joke, bro. And so I just stopped trying to do any inspirational stuff and I just focused on trying to get funny. And it took me 5 years to get really to a point where I was consistently funny. But then I missed being able to have real conversations with people and really delivering these empowering messages that I was learning. And so the power of comedy is that it gets people to open up, especially young people. When I'm performing in middle schools and high schools, when a kid's cracking up, if you make a kid laugh, like you got them and they just trust you. And then when you're dropping that message of empowerment or whatever it is, they're so much more receptive to it. If you just start talking about all this empowerment stuff without getting them laughing, you have to work 10 times harder to get them to listen and to open up. So
Yeah.
it's really, really important, man.
That's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
good for you that you had the insight to not to really blend them and not just walk away.
Oh yeah.
Because you kind of you created something for yourself that you probably didn't imagine was possible.
Bro, so many, many years ago, I think I mentioned this the last time we spoke. I participated in a really powerful seminar called the Forum, the Landmark Forum. And the Landmark Forum, it really catapulted what I thought was possible to a whole different level. Like I thought I knew who I was, and then I did this program called the Forum. And in the Forum, you examine your own limiting beliefs. You examine, what am I thinking that has me thinking these same things over and over again? And once you see them, once you can get out of your own way and see them, you're like, oh my gosh, dude, anything is possible. I can do anything really that I'm committed to doing. And that's what they say at Landmark. You can create for yourself anything that you're willing to create for yourself. And you have to not only just create it, but then you have to share it with people and get other people excited about the fact that you created these things. So I share that with you because it was something that I wasn't sure if I thought you either had to be a comedian or you could be a motivational speaker. I didn't think you could do both. And when I tried to do both, I wasn't good at it. So I stopped it and I just got funny. But then I realized that my passion was making an impact with students and with people. And so once I got funny, then I started opening up this other door to the empowerment stuff. And that's where it really just the magic started blending. But one of the other things I learned at Landmark, and I learned this at Agape, and I learned this from all these amazing books that I read, is that the universe kind of has this energy and this vibration. And our job is to really align ourselves with that energy. That if we keep trying to like do what we're doing and force what we're trying to do, when the universe is really trying to evolve at this beautiful pace and it has its own rhythm to it, if we try to force ourselves into that, we're going to get smacked in the face. There's a funny quote about like, if you really want something, go out into a mountaintop and scream it at the mountains and tell them that you want that and see how much the mountains care, like the profound indifference that the universe and the oceans have to your little wants and needs, right? But what I also learned is that one of my Landmark Forum leaders, Richard Condon, he said, you want to ride the horse in the direction that it's running.
Ah,
And so
wow.
we're always trying to stop the horse or move the horse or manipulate the horse. He's like, jump on the horse and ride it in the direction that it's running and just go with that energy. And so I've mastered this ability to get people to laugh. But, getting people to laugh is really just the vehicle to get them to open up. And then I can just share some really beautiful things. That's really
Yeah.
what my commitment is.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny because recently I kind of learned that, because I think you and I read kind of same kind of books,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
listen to the same speakers and the TED Talks and all that stuff. Which is really weird because I think both of us kind of came from the same cloth where looking inside when we were little kids was not a conversation.
Mm,
I don't know about,
no,
I'm guessing it's pretty good odds not happening in your household. Definitely was not happening in mine.
no, no, no.
So my wife and her friends, when I started dating her, she was sort of the first to turn me on to this sort of look inside kind of thing, which was a completely foreign concept to me, and I was kind of just, very outward thinking and judgy and all of this stuff. And so, you spend a lot of time trying to get out of that. One of the things I learned from myself was that, desire is almost divine, for so many things that came across my life that I questioned or they needed to have a reason for me to do them, or I talk myself out of them, as opposed to just flowing with the instinct or riding that horse. it's really kind of hard because, I mean, even in your example, your peers were telling you not to do it.
Hmm. Exactly. And it ended up being the greatest gift that they gave me because I had to hone my comedy skills before I started doing this other. I would not be able to do what I'm doing had I not gotten funny. And I
Yeah.
got funny. It took me years to get funny, and there's still a lot of people that don't think I'm funny. But I got funny enough that I could get young people and students to laugh. And now, I think, a lot of people call me masterful in being able to do this combined comedy and empowerment. I'm speaking all over the country to thousands and thousands of students, and that doesn't happen if you're not funny. That doesn't happen if you don't have a message. That doesn't happen if you're not really providing value to people. So I
Yeah.
feel really blessed to do what I do. But
Yeah, that's amazing. And so you're basically creating a safe environment, and then the content comes through.
bro, all right. So what I got excited about earlier, I was like, I don't know if I should tell that story because it's a deep story, but I got to share it with you.
Cool.
So many of my friends know who I am and know
Yeah.
what I'm about. Like,
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook, I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram, and I'd say 90% of my friends on Facebook and Instagram are either friends who personally know me or people who have seen me perform.
Sure.
There's very few people that are on there that are just like, let's see who this dude is,
Yeah.
whatever. They're all like they saw me and they think I'm funny and so they
They know
added
you.
me
Yeah. They
or they
know of
know me.
you. They know you or know of you.
They know of me or know of, yeah, exactly what you said. And so I have all these amazing friends, Chicano studies professors, authors, people that work in academia that are always kind of saying, hey, Ernie, this reminded me of you. And I
Cool.
had a friend named Maria Elena Fernandez, who's a Chicano studies professor at CSUN. And she calls me out of the blue. She goes, oh my God, Ernie, you got to come with me this afternoon to UCLA. And I'm like, what? She's like, I was listening to NPR and they were interviewing this guy from the New Yorker magazine. He's the head theater critic for the New Yorker magazine, and he's doing a talk at UCLA for the psychiatry department this afternoon. Come with me. And I was
Hmm.
like, why do you want me to go? She goes, just trust me, you'll love it. So we go to listen to this guy. His name was John Lahr, Lahr,
Hmm.
and he was the son of Bert
Oh,
Lahr,
wow.
the cowardly lion from The
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
And he was giving a speech at UCLA at the psychiatry department on comedy and revenge. And I was like, comedy and revenge. And his whole thing was that comedy is a form of revenge. That I was not, uh, I was not good looking, so I'll be funny.
Oh, wow.
I was not smart, so I'll be funny. I did not get the girl, so I'll be funny, so I can get the girl. And where he got this from was that as a kid growing up, his dad was one of the most famous comedians in the
Yeah.
world. Bro, I'm getting chills telling the story. And he was known all over the world. This was, before Wizard of Oz, which took him to like international
Yeah.
fame. But before that, he was one of the funniest, like vaudevillian comedians out there. And he was a singer and a dancer. But as a lot of artists are, he was a miserable guy. And he would come home and drink whiskey, smoke a cigar, and beat his wife.
Oh,
And,
shit.
and as a kid, he was like, dude, why are you beating up mom and getting all drunk and smoking whiskey when the world thinks you're so funny? And this kid, John Lahr, he wrote for his high school newspaper. So he interviewed his dad. And because his dad, they all, oh, we want to hear about your dad. And so they interviewed his dad, and he was a little trepidatious to interview his dad. And he asked his dad, he goes, Dad, why do you care about comedy? Like, what made you want to become a comedian? Why did you want to get funny? He goes, kid, I just wanted a woman to put her dang arm around me. And I'm
Wow.
like, wow, dude, that's
Wow.
all he wanted was I can't get the girl to like me, so I got to be funny. And then he remembers that, he kind of asked his dad, like, but why do you drink and why do you smoke? And his dad got all furious and he goes, the interview's over. So then John Lahr goes to college and he becomes a critic, and he was the head theater critic for the New Yorker magazine. So any plays that comes to New
Yeah.
York,
Yeah.
he would watch and critique them. Later in his life, his dad had a kind of a transformation, and his dad went from this bitter dude that would drink and smoke and beat his wife to like kind of a loving, peaceful dude. And before he passed away, John Lahr interviewed his dad at his deathbed, and his dad was like this jolly guy, and he became a lot happier. And later in life, John was like, Dad, you've really transformed. You're not the bitter old guy that you used to be. What changed? And Bert Lahr said, He goes, I had a lot of people influence me, but the most was a priest who taught me a prayer. And I say this prayer every time before I get up on stage. I started saying this prayer. He's all, kid, he's like, I'm sorry, when I was a kid, I didn't have any guidance. I just wanted people to like me. So I just did whatever I could to get people to laugh at me. And honestly, they were laughing at me. I'd go up on stage and I was the sad faced clown. They would just laugh at me. Ha ha ha. Look how miserable and sad that guy is. How funny that guy is. He goes, but then I had a conversion experience and I transformed everything because I met a priest who taught me a prayer. And I say this prayer before I get up on stage. And the prayer is simply this: Dear God, help me heal my personal wounds so that I may rage correctly. And I was like, whoa, dude, I'm at UCLA listening to this guy talking at the Department of Psychiatry about comedy and revenge. He said, the moment I forgave myself and I healed all this angst and internal angst, I started being myself on stage, and people went from laughing at me to laughing with me. And I'm dying a peaceful man because I've healed my personal wounds.
Wow.
And I was like, dude,
That
that's
is
amazing.
crazy.
I know so many comedians who have not healed their personal wounds. I know so many artists who have not healed their personal wounds, and they're really just acting out all this angst. And so comedy has that power, dude, to get people to laugh. But if the person who's being funny hasn't healed, they're going to spit a lot of that angst, and they're going to spread a lot more trauma, and they're going to spread a lot. And we've all seen it. We've all seen comedians that were like, whoa, dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
that guy needs a hug, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's other comedians and other artists who are like, wow, this guy's really tapping into something. So, dear God, help me heal my personal wounds so that I may rage correctly. Dude, is that
Wow.
deep or what?
Wow.
Woo! Thank you, John Lahr, the son of
Wow.
Bert Lahr.
Man, is that a book or something? I got to look into that because
It should be. It was
it's
a
got to be
talk.
written somewhere.
I gotta do some research and find out
Man,
because it was a
man, that
talk I
sounds like
went
a
to.
movie.
Totally,
Wow,
totally.
that's amazing. That's
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I
And
should find John Lahr and see if he's out there because I want him to know I've been telling that story over and
yeah,
over
well,
again.
he's got to be up there by now, right? I mean, that.
Yeah. Well, Bert Lahr's gone. Bert Lahr
Yeah,
passed
yeah.
away, but John probably is getting up there too.
That's crazy. That's a great story. That's a
Isn't
great
that
story.
beautiful? Yeah,
And
and the
it's
whole
no, go
sorry,
ahead. Go
go ahead.
ahead.
Just the whole point is that we all have an obligation to just get ourselves to that proverbial next level so that we're not spewing all our angst and animosity all over people. Because I have a lot of friends who love mental health and they're all about mental health, but they have not yet healed. I had a girl approach me on Instagram. She's like, Ernie, oh my God, you're so amazing. She's like, I teach mental health and I want to learn more about what you're up to. Can we talk? And I go, yeah, girl, totally. I go, give me your number and I'll call you, or here's my number. You can call me. And then she writes back, whoa, 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 whoa. I wasn't, trying to hit on you or anything. I just was like, wanted to talk. She's like, can we talk here? And I said, oh my God, sweetheart, I'm not trying to hit on you. You approached me. And she's like, look, Ernie, it causes me a lot of anxiety to be on the phone with people. Okay. So can you please just respect the fact that I want to talk to you, but I don't want to have a conversation with you? And I was like, dude, this girl should not be teaching mental health. She is not at a place where we can even have a conversation. And unfortunately, she's still on Instagram and she doesn't have hundreds of thousands of followers, but she has maybe 2 or 3 thousand. And she posts all these videos. Hi, guys, it's me. And today, what we're going to talk about. And I'm just like, this poor thing. So the point is, we all are committed to helping to transform the world. But the greatest gift we can give the world is to transform and heal ourselves. Woo! That was
Yeah,
deep, bro.
I love that. I love that. And I fell in that trap too because I think that early on, I was reading a lot of stuff and I was believing it, and then I heard Chopra one time talk about uh, spiritual materialism. He had that phrase,
Mm,
and
mm.
I recognized in myself that with a lot of these things, I was reading them, I was believing them, understanding them as true, but they had nothing to do with my personal life. And
Wow.
so it after a while I was able to sort of ask, okay, so fine, you believe it, so what does it matter to you, and can you weave it in your own life?
Totally.
And so that's sort of the quiet journey that all of us have to take, right? If we're going to change us inside ourselves.
Bro,
So
this is the reason I love working with young people because teenagers can smell a rat. And when somebody, a teacher, professor, a mentor is trying to impart knowledge, but has not yet incorporated these life skills or these lessons into their own life, a teenager can smell it like that. And the thing that I think students love about me is that I'm willing to be vulnerable and I'm willing to
yeah,
be honest about what I'm struggling with and what I'm going through. And kids can't believe it. They're like, oh my God, mister, you're like a real person, huh?
yeah,
And that's what makes them really connect to what I'm sharing. I like to say my superpower is comedy, but my real superpower, bro, is authenticity and vulnerability.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
students really, really connect with.
Yeah, and if you listen to Brene Brown at all, that's her entire thesis. That's the only thing. That's the core of everything she talks about. And it makes a lot of sense if you consider it personally.
Bro, I just bought her new book, The Gift of Imperfection,
Hmm.
and I'm reading it and I'm incorporating it into everything I'm doing, bro, because she's talking about, what's going on right now during quarantine. And she said something about the three C's that are going to get us through quarantine, but really that are going to get us through life: courage, compassion, and connection. We have to have the courage to take on whatever it is that we're dealing with. We have to have compassion for everybody around us, and everyone's fighting their own battles. And more than anything, we need to feel connected to each other by being on Zoom calls and just staying connected. Because the root of all of the depression that's happening during quarantine is people feel isolated from each other. So the antithesis of isolation is connection. So we need to stay connected, man.
I
Woo!
am so excited to share this with some friends. My friend Stacy and I can't wait to share this with her because we were talking about books and things like that, and we have a very similar conversation. It's a blast to talk to you, and I appreciate very much your insight and you willing to uh, spend the time, with me on these because I could talk about this shit all day
Me
long.
too, bro. So
you
let's
know,
do it again, bro. Let's
and
do
it's
it.
very selfish of me because I feel like I'm getting free therapy, but hopefully, if we can connect like one person, I'll be happy. But this is just really, I'm hoping to just rise anybody up with this conversation. So
Yeah. And for
um
me too, bro. I mean, I have all this wisdom inside of me, but I'm never quite sure what will, trigger certain memories and certain thoughts. And that story about John Lahr, I haven't told
that's
that story in
great.
a long time.
That's
So
great.
I'm
That's
glad that
amazing.
it's back in my consciousness because I want to share it with as many people as I can.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Cool.
Very cool. Very cool. And so where should I send people to check you out online?
Yeah, ernieg.com is my website, and then I'm on all social media platforms at hashtag Ernie G haha, J H A, not J A. It's not Ernie G haha like the Mexicans. Is it J A or H A? I'm like, it's H A. Ernie G, ERNIEGHAHA. And yeah, man, I'm super excited. I have my TEDx talk that I'm finally, everything got pushed aside because of COVID, but I just spoke to the producers of that TEDx event, and we're editing my video so that it can get released. So I have a couple TEDx talks coming out, and
Awesome.
a
That's
bunch of
amazing.
great things happening. So
That's amazing.
check me
That's
out.
amazing. Well,
Yeah,
never hesitate to reach out to me if you need anything or I can help you. So just let me know. And as always, I really appreciate this. And maybe I'll get you to do it again.
yeah, let's do it again, bro. Because like I said, I love being reminded of all the magic that I've been taught. We forget all the magic that's inside of us, and so these are the opportunities for me to go, oh my gosh, I forgot that that's something that's a part of me now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
thanks
love
for
it.
the opportunity.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
Have a great evening, man. We'll
All
talk
right, buddy.
soon and best to you all. And thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sounds great, buddy.
Take care.
Peace.